Call the meeting to order of the Griggs County Commission. Stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. That insurance thing, I have not heard anything back. We can talk about it if we, I mean, these guys probably don't know.
Right.
Okay. Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Moved by Sean to approve the agenda. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to the December 8th meeting minutes. I wonder if right, like the third of the way down on on the first page there, it said Chairman Olson opened the floor to accept the November 21st meeting. Probably should be meeting minutes.
Okay.
Then on the bottom of page 3 in that paragraph, the second to the last paragraph there, that discussion was had regarding road graders with Kevin Wolford from Butner. Probably held.
Okay.
Then the next sentence, same thing.
Third paragraph on page 4, it should be discussion had on farm residence exemption.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Gee, that's a noisy thing.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's just a baseboard heater. It's almost like there's a relay in there.
Sounds like a welder.
It must be so big that there's a relay in there. A noisy relay.
I'd move to approve the December 8th minutes with clerical changes and dispense with reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Sean, seconded by Mark to approve the December 8th meeting minutes as amended. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Move on to the bills.
Does our budget run on a calendar year or does it run?
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody missed breakfast.
I know, I had that.
Coffee doesn't count.
I had sausage and eggs.
Ooh.
Gotta get rid of the last of that deer sausage because it's about time to make some more.
From last year.
It was from Matt and JCM. All of ours is gone already.
What would be the county agent special? On first page.
It's actually a whole different account for,
That's kind of chemical, when they do chemical certification, I think
Oh,
it's just
yeah,
an in
yeah.
and, I think it's just an in and out,
yeah,
Just a pass-through deal?
you know.
it's actually a pretty small account by itself, is
Yeah.
all it is.
That's Bob's last draw.
Yes.
And TJ's, is that, are we not budgeted for computers this year? 'Cause it's kind of centered over if we knew that.
His total budget,
He
we
talked
figured
to us
out
about that
yesterday.
at the last
Oh, the
meeting.
total.
That was that
Yeah,
invoice he had at the last meeting. He's wondering if we wanted to do that.
That's right.
He was gonna put in that new operating system and then get some new machines or something, and we kinda gave him the go-ahead as long as it didn't, his
Total budget.
total budget didn't go over.
And it doesn't. We went
Right.
through it yesterday, Travis and I did.
So,
Move to approve the bills as presented.
been moved by Sean to approve the bills as presented. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Oh, I didn't do roll call. Dale?
Is this for a vote or are we roll call?
Just go, I hear.
I and here.
John is absent. Mark?
I am here.
Sean?
I in here.
Troy is I in here. Motion carries. What the heck? Is Kelly coming
I'll-
in? Or do you,
She should be. I'll text her.
kinda missed that drip, drip, drip we heard last meeting. That was the deal going down.
Kind of soothing.
Who's gonna turn it on?
We had a leaky ceiling.
I thought Wacker was gonna,
Crawl the roof, crawl the wall. Yeah.
he didn't like that much.
He was counting the drips.
It's hard not to after a while.
Too bad that Heartland thing wasn't a little more reasonable.
That's what it's just.
I thought, Wes called me on that.
$76 an hour.
That's a great idea. Well, I don't even care about the hourly rate. We just need like 3 hours a week.
Well, I was just gonna say, maybe we need an option like 8 hours every other week or something. Well, it says in here we can come up with, right?
What are you looking at?
This Heartland for the emergency manager.
Yeah.
14, 15, 16.
Well, I was just kill the time. See on our way in here or something. Well, how about David? Should I go get him?
I can go get him.
Another probably pretty dependable one.
Ideally, who would you like to see run that emergency managing deal? What kind of,
Well, what we really thought would be nice is if we could get,
share one with another county?
don't just have like, originally like somebody from town that's on the fire department
Yeah.
or ambulance, it should like be like, not in the corner, it should be
Yeah.
like a.
But as we talked, though, that's somebody that would be at the site. We'd like to find somebody, I think, that wouldn't necessarily be called to be
Oh, right.
at a site or
Yeah.
something like that. For emergency manager.
Yeah, I don't think the sheriff is a good fit. Never
No.
was, but that was what was in place when we got here.
Yep, and we talk about, fire or ambulance person, well, they're gonna be called at the site too.
Yeah, I know, but there's more than one of them.
Yeah, there
And they
is.
rotate, I mean.
Yeah.
It's a little Christmas gift.
Oh, what do you
I
have?
make homemade bread. It's a little
Oh,
hobby.
gosh.
So I made a little for each of you guys.
Boy, if you slice that open, threw a bunch of salami in there for me. I'd really-
Yeah, thank you. John's not here today, so
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Thanks, David.
I'll get to you guys.
you can pass that down the way.
I already got it.
Actually, I had a slice this morning.
Oh,
Kelly, if you want, or you go ahead.
Oh, I'm up to bat?
And this is from Tim Wallery. He came in and he sent his farm residency application, and I didn't see the in front of it, so I opened it.
Okay. Nope, that's okay.
So
Okay.
okay, so this is for soils. I just pulled up what included in the packet, what was used last year.
Right.
I don't think that the soils committee is active, or I haven't heard whether it is or not. So I don't see any reason to change the modifiers. Let's see. There's a eggland self-study that the state has sent, so hopefully they'll teach me a little bit more about the modifiers, but I'm not as familiar with how they operate, so before assessment I'll be a lot more familiar with, but I have to send in every year. We have to send in what what the county plans to use as modifiers, and then the state sends their approval, and so this is what was used last year. I wanted to run it by you guys. Can you use the same thing?
The township assessors utilize this in their assessments.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we haven't changed or done anything since 14 was the last time. When
Was it?
Emily was here, right? We haven't changed her.
I don't know if we changed them then, we reviewed.
We just, approved them, but I don't think we've done any. Just kept them the same every year.
So, um,
These need to be approved by the commission, is that what you're telling me?
I think it's standard for tax director to run these by the commissioners, and then
Okay.
so you guys know what I'm submitting to the state there, and then this is what's been used for the
Sure.
past, so I don't see any reason why the state would.
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve the modifiers.
Been moved by Mark to approve the modifiers as presented. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Seconded by Shondale. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. You too.
Morning, Kelly.
Good morning. I just handed you copies of what I'd like to include in the grant, if approved. Mark, I can kind of explain what this is real quick. In court, when defendants are fined at the end of their case, there is one fee that they're assessed. It's called the court facility fee. And the money from that fee goes into this court facilities fund. So there's a pot at the end of the year that all the counties can apply for grants out of to help pay for projects that regard to any space that's used for court purposes.
Oh.
So this year what I have on here is the North Dakota seal to go above the desk, the bench, replacing the flags and stands that are in there. Right now I have a flag. I check on it every once in a while, but the flag is the flag's too long for the stand. Or the stand doesn't stand up straight, so the flag is touching the ground, and it was brought to my attention that that's not supposed to be. So, and then monitors in the courtroom, we still have the tiny little square monitors, and it makes it difficult with trying to run our programs. It's nice to have several of the programs up at one time, and right now we just
I think I
can't,
have your
so.
original. Do you want
Yes,
that back?
you do. Nope,
Oh.
because if approved, then that's the original. That's got to go to the state. So
Oh, you need me to sign it again?
yeah,
Ah,
you'd have to sign on the bottom there.
I see.
So.
Okay.
So the cost for Griggs County would be $398.63, and it could end up being less than that. Mike just kind of gave me a general quick quote for the flags. Like he says in his email that they're very similar to what the Cass County Courthouse had, and that we could look for cheaper ones if need be. So that's kind of just a broad estimate he has there. So $398.63 would be the 25% that the county would have to pay.
So do you have the Legion retire the old flag then, or how do you do that?
I don't know. I thought I would ask Dennis about that.
Talk to Red Helm or somebody?
Yeah.
Dennis is gone. Jimmy's in for it.
Dennis Kabishka.
There's a right and a wrong way to do that.
Just talking Dennis
Dennis
Kabishka.
Oh!
Yeah, I figured I would just ask him. Yeah, I figured
He'd know.
probably know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot
So,
that Dennis.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the grant.
Been moved
Approve the
by Mark.
application.
To approve the application for the courtroom grant, facilities grant. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Sean. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Dale? All right. Mark?
Aye.
Sean? Aye. Troy votes aye. Motion carries.
They do the review, and we usually find out the end of January whether we're approved or not. So I'll let you know then, and then you'll have an acceptance letter at that time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kelly. David. Who's Rulifson? Rulifson. Is that somebody from Fargo?
And it's you.
Oh, maybe that's the regional.
Regional.
That's from Grand Forks.
I think it's the one that took, what's his name, Jim Gray's place, I think.
Is he here?
Hmm.
Is he here?
I think it's a sheet.
Sutton Pub liquor license.
Is that in here?
Betcha.
Where at?
Well, not a copy of it.
Oh. Liquor and not beer?
No.
Oh.
Liquor and beer.
Move we grant or approve of the Sutton Pub liquor license.
Why are we doing this 6 months at a time?
It's their choice.
Is that right?
I think so.
So this is an application for a 6-month liquor license. The beer license is $50. The liquor license is $350. Motion Sean moved to approve. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I think they just kept doing that because that's the way Augie was doing it. Cause
Augie
he didn't want to go more than 6 months in case he sold it.
Augie was trying to get out. That's why he went to the 6-month deal. But if it's going, I have not been over there, but if it's going all right for them, you'd think they'd just do the 1-year deal.
That's tough to keep a small business going in these little communities.
Right, but I mean, they must know if it's gonna work by now.
How do we come up with the price on the liquor licenses? That's something the state sets?
Don't know. I think it's county. County or city, whichever.
Well, it's not an incorporated city, that's why we're dealing with it. We don't deal with any of the stuff.
No, I know. I mean, that's what they're either divvied out between
Yeah.
counties and cities.
I bet you the county is whatever the city is. I don't know that though.
You know, like in Fargo, they're like
Oh.
$200,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got Uber down there though.
Yeah.
Sure do. There's still some people not smart enough to use that either.
North Dakota Tax Commissioner.
Yeah, twice.
The insurance on the new courthouse is on here, and the reason it's on here is because we have to certify each year to the Bank of North Dakota that we have insurance in force on this building because they are the safekeepers of the bonds that built the courthouse.
So proof of insurance.
Well, it's not. It's a certification that I signed, and I didn't know for sure what we had for insurance. I couldn't quite remember. So Amber at Bank Forward got me the deck sheets for this building, and if you remember back in the day, the State Fire and Tornado wouldn't insure this thing because it wasn't owned by the county and they couldn't insure anything that wasn't a public owned facilities, therefore our insurance was much higher than it would have been if we could have had them do it. So, being the curious little feller that I am, I went on to the Emma website and looked up some other building authority projects in North Dakota, and I called their auditor and asked them who insured their buildings that were built with building authority, and it was State Fire and Tornado. So I have a call in to them now. I don't know if just all the controversy surrounding this project scared them out of doing that or what. I don't know what the deal is. But, and we weren't occupying the building.
Right.
I mean, there
Well,
was
and
just,
there were some things with that too as well.
so we'll see. Hopefully, when they get back to me, they called me and I explained to them what I was doing, and they were going to call me back. And I think I talked to them yesterday or the day before, and they haven't gotten back to me yet. So.
Holidays too.
So we're kind of just wait and see on that deal. I just thought I'd let you know what I was up to. County property bid. Welton Cochran has a bid in here. The 3671.35, is that what the minimum bid that the city set on that property?
Which one is it? The one east of the old.
That's that little house behind the Eversons there.
Oh, behind Everson.
That little tiny little
Yeah.
house.
What do we do? Do you want a motion to accept? I also move.
It's been moved by Mark to accept the bid by Welton Cochran on the property that was forfeited on the tax.
Is that where the new Dairy Queen is gonna be?
I don't know. I don't care. Is there a second to the motion?
I'd second the motion.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Dale?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. This is efficiency, man. North Dakota DES, or not North Dakota, Griggs County DES. So, Wes called me the other day, and he had used this Heartland Consulting Group to help him with, they did like an active shooter exercise kind of deal down at the school. I imagine a lot of schools are doing that just because there's been some of that going on. And in visiting with those people, they are equipped to basically be our DES, if we so chose. You know, they're in Bismarck, but that's not so far away anymore. And I told Wes, I said, God, that's a great idea, Wes. If we could find somebody to provide those services, that would be to our advantage. But in reading through this thing, and of course, I'm not knowledgeable enough on the subject to know how many hours we need of DES services. You know, we've been having none for a long time. Not that that's correct or that's adequate, but I think the state reimburses us like $7,500.
I think that's what the budget was on that.
And
Plus, there's some things with computers and some reimbursement on that too. If
They reimburse you half of your budget, don't they?
oh, whatever the budget is.
I think that's.
Oh,
Didn't we pay for some of our technology out of that too, if I remember right?
I think some grants came through that thing or something. Doesn't the DES administer some grant?
I think they got like radios and different things. Total budget was 15.5.
Okay. So that's where my 7,500 came from.
Yeah.
We're supposed to get half of it back. So we should find out if there's a cap on that.
Right.
And they would charge us then for like when they did they do the thing at the high school?
I would imagine the school paid for that. I don't know that.
Right. This looks like an all CE outfit and whatever.
These guys, there's some, the DES requires the DES director to have some training, and then they're supposed to do some planning for disasters, and there's a minimum amount of things that need to be done.
Courses they gotta maintain.
Right. And so what these guys would contract for us, with us, to keep us in compliance with the state, because by statute, we're required to have a DES director. And that DES director, oh,
Hello.
hey Megan, hi there.
Hi.
I think I just saw you a few minutes ago.
Yes, I thought you
I
looked
recognized you, but I
familiar.
couldn't get my head around it.
That's all right.
Yes, director is,
We don't have one today.
yeah.
So, Jamie reached out to some counties around us to see if, if somebody wanted to share it. And I think Barnes County has a meeting on the 2nd or something. Is it Barnes County or Nelson County?
Foster.
Foster. Anyway, they're gonna talk about it. It just seems like these little tiny counties, to have a position like that,
Yeah.
where you cover such little geography, seems terribly inefficient when you have training requirements and all that kind of stuff. It just,
Sure.
I mean, you can throw a stone to the next county almost, just.
Yeah, yeah.
Nelson County is quite a bit bigger than we are geographically, but Foster, Eddy, Griggs, Wells, Steele.
So how would that
Trails,
change
tiny.
things if we were to go with a bid? Would there be a number they call when there's an emergency or that sort of thing, and then they would
Right.
notify the rest?
They
of
would
the-
have people available if we had, a big chemical spill or whatever.
Somebody coordinate.
Come out
Yeah,
and
if
coordinate
that's-
the cleanup or,
Kinda like a 911 number almost.
Make sure the right answers
Right.
are there.
So they're
But
2.5 hours away or whatever.
But they would call somebody first and then they'd come, I suppose, and inspect and
Supervise the,
supervise. Maybe never even show up, just call.
depending on what's going on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Be nice if we could keep that kind of money in the county, the 15,000, but, or whatever it comes to. But like you say, by the time you go through training and all those things, and
Well, I didn't expect this number to be this big, Mark.
sure,
I was hoping it would save us money.
yeah.
So,
What kind of money are they talking? I didn't,
well, there's three
three
different.
choices there.
The first one's
8 hours a week.
29,000, 39,000, and 53,000.
yeah,
Well, if we're gonna spend that much money, I agree with you, we should hire a person, but I think that's totally unnecessary in this county.
What are some of our area counties doing? Do we know?
Well,
Do they have one?
Steele County, that,
Tax equalization and
right,
DES are rolled together.
Some of them they roll together to make it full-time.
Barnes County is,
Most of them in these little counties are just part-time.
Barnes County is a lot bigger county, of course,
Yeah.
more population.
their DES director also runs the 911.
Okay,
He runs the dispatch center, I think.
and that Steele County, that's at Gates, right?
Yeah.
Ben Gates. I don't know what Foster is doing for sure. Nelson County, I think that's combined with some other.
Now Foster must not be doing anything if they're considering entertaining a
True.
joint powers agreement with us, so.
This company is providing some of these services for some other counties in the state. The West mentioned McKenzie County, but you can imagine these types of issues they have in McKenzie County as compared to Griggs County.
Oh, yeah.
Pipelines and
Yeah.
trucks and drilling and fracking and holy cow, you'd have to have somebody that was pretty knowledgeable to keep up with all that.
They're kinda in the paper pretty regular.
So, might not be a good fit for us. We'll see. So, we don't know too much right now. And also, we can ask these guys more questions.
Sure.
They don't know all they need to know about us either, maybe.
Well,
You know, if they're thinking McKenzie County, boy, that's a different ballgame,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
Well, and the thing, if you needed like 8 hours every 2 weeks, then we're looking at about $15,000, so
Right.
it may work.
Yeah, we don't know what we need either,
Exactly.
because we haven't.
That's a problem. Somebody's gonna have to help us a little bit with that
Yeah.
too.
But you said Steele County, the tax director
And DES are the same.
are the same person?
Yeah.
We'd probably contact them and find out how many hours they feel they do each way and or
They
how
can
they
do that.
budget.
I haven't talked, I don't know Ben. He must have moved to Finley after I had moved away.
And once you get in compliance, it's not as big a deal.
Right,
Sure.
We haven't been in compliance for quite some time at that, because,
Evidently.
not as mad as the state was.
no,
Yeah.
but then they never told us we were out of compliance.
No, that's true.
Or we never got the
Well, they told Bob
Never
we
got
were
the
out of compliance,
correspondence
but
that we were.
failed to act on it, so.
Okay, well, I'll maybe call these people and talk to them and see if
I'm curious to see
we're
what
on the same page.
Steele County, how it's working for them. How they're doing it.
They've been doing it like, I think he's been doing that for quite a while. So it must be going okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Don Huso used to be DES in Steele County,
Right. He retired fully now, right?
you know.
Okay, back to NDSU. Benson. Megan?
Well, Kim's going to, I guess, address you guys first.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for having me here from Grand Forks. I wanted to just give an update. So I represent the counties on the eastern side, and I did listen to your one of your November recordings about the budget update from Extension, and so I wanted to just give you a kind of, not just kind of, an update about that. I also wanted to do some clarifications from that November recording that I heard because there were some inaccuracies. And third, I just wanted to see if you could explain the mills and how it works here, or I can talk to the auditor. So, but in terms of main points, the fact of the matter is, it is true that the state did cut us by 14%. We have been able to survive on that. We did just close officially 10 permanent positions are completely gone now. We have 12 openings of agents across the state. that have been frozen for up to over a year, and about 10 specialist positions. So we are holding right now. However, with that kind of gap, we can't fill those positions, and so we need to find a new strategy. And so the State Board of Agriculture Research and Education has proposed a funding model, which there was a conference call from our director to commissioners about that. And the bottom line is it's not done yet, but the proposal is that there would be a more percent asked by the counties than there has been in the past. In the past, we had 50% of salary provided by the county and 50% provided by the state. The county picked up operating and the state picked up fringe. So that's been the ongoing formula use since I think 1992, so it's been a long time. The fringe continues to go up for the state, and so the new proposal would be 40% picked up of total compensation by the state and 60% picked up, I said that wrong. 40% of total compensation picked up by the county and 60% of total compensation picked up by the state. Still a proposal. What that means is the total compensation would be putting the value of the salary and the fringe together and then dividing that out by 40% and 60% respectively. That still increases what we need from the county. I know this, as you explained during that November meeting, is painful. There's other state entities or unfunded mandates that the county's having to deal with. And the bottom line is it's $5,167 a year to keep Megan as an extension agent for your county. I do want to say you actually have 2 agents. So you have Megan at 1.0 and you have Lee Gunkel, who's paid by state and federal. So she does no cost to the county. She provides about 0.2 or 1 day of service to Griggs County for those that get food stamps, so your lowest income brackets. She works a lot in the school district and with the food pantry. I also want to say that we know this is hard. Right now, here's kind of a rundown of what agents we have in your nearby areas. So Griggs, we have 1.2, only 1.0 being covered by the county. Stutzman, they have 2.0 FTE. Barnes County has 3.0. Eddy has 1.5. Foster has 1.5. Nelson has 1.5. Steele has 1.4. Trail has 1.8. So you have the least amount of agents compared to your neighboring counties. I just want to present that. So where we're at is I have some information. The draft-based policy is that 40-60 model that I mentioned. And this is only a draft because SFAIR is still here in testimony. I don't know, did any of you send letters or update SFAIR and your feelings about the cut? You did know? Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so they still will accept any written information if you want to speak about your disadvantage about this. They will accept it till January 12th when they meet again. At that point, at some point between now and March, they will give their final decision on extension in terms of that funding model. At that point, I will get back in touch with you and say, this is what was approved. I mean, it could change. Some of the smallest counties, they actually have the reverse. So they have the 60-40 model. Steele County, you have a $5,000 request. They have a $23,000 request because it's the reverse. Steele County has said they will fund those positions. So they are willing, because of their county people, to fund those positions. So I just want to explain some of the neighboring counties' feelings. So I have that draft with me. I also have what Chris presented. This is the Director of Extension. Additionally, I have what the cost is broken down for 40-60 for Megan, so you can see that. The final piece I have is based on what I heard on the November recording. It looks like there was lack of support from the commission to keep funding the agent, and I'd like to review that today. This is what you lose if you don't have an agent. So we have a lot of information here, and it's up to you. If your option is that you weren't gonna let go of Megan or not fund her accurately in terms of what they have right now, you need to find the state mandated updates, so.
What's the fringe percentage? We don't even know what that is.
I have it in a spreadsheet, I don't have it with me, but I have the actual amounts, so if you wanna look at them. Megan's probably around a 40% fringe rate. So a couple things from the call I wanted to discuss were that, and since the call, or the meeting, sorry, the recording, I've had many calls and emails, about 12, of concern from other counties of losing the Griggs County person. I've also had concerned citizens.
From other counties?
Yes. In
Really?
fact, they forwarded the recordings. I got it from Cass, I got it from Pominot.
Why would it affect another county?
They are concerned about losing an agent. It's their own advocation for their own system. We work as a county system partnership. So they help each other. So Megan goes to help other counties and they come here. So, there was a concern about 4-Hers. I just want to verify that we have 62 4-Hers in your county. 56 are enrolled from Griggs, 3 from Steele, and 3 from Eddy in traditional 4-H. So just to clarify that. Also in the recording, it was brought up that that's an 8% total difference for that new funding model. That is correct. It was brought up that it'd be 11% with fringe. That is not correct. It is only 8% difference between the last model. This funding model would not be approved until fiscal year 19, so there's still about 18 months to make decisions. Okay. Additionally,
So we don't need to do anything today.
right. I'm just verifying the
Yep.
information since
Sure.
it came out and was
Yeah.
asked to. So, Extension did not receive raises, so I know that was brought up. There was questions if Extension did receive wages. We are officially state employees. We did not get a raise this year. We will not get one next year. That is a savings to the county because normally we would project at least 2.5%. So you will have saved about 6% because of that.
Okay. So our increase would be 12%.
No, it's 8%.
Well, we're paying 23,264 right now.
Correct.
Oh, it goes up $5,167.
Correct. Another point was that there was comment
Then
made
it's
about.
more than 12% because we're paying 23,000 now.
Correct.
22%.
Is my math incorrect?
Well, 5167 is 22% of 23,264, right?
22%, is that what you come up with?
Yeah.
What would, it would go
You
up
don't have a
to
percentage in here.
28,000
Yeah,
and how much?
431.
And then how much is 23 for 68? Where is there a copy of that?
Yeah.
23,264, is that the number you're looking for?
Yeah.
So we can verify that. If it was my math, I apologize. We'll just double check that if you guys want.
I
to.
think our approach might be off.
And it could be that. If it's my fault, I'll admit to it just to verify.
Well, I'm not mad at
No.
you. I'm just saying the percentage increase is the difference between the old rate and the new rate
Oh, relative.
divided by the old rate.
So, okay, so relative increase you're talking about. I just did the percent difference, so not the relative increase, so. At any rate, I'll verify.
All we were doing is discussing the options laid out
Yeah.
from extension.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get to those too.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's all we talked about.
Well, there was some other things that I just wanted to verify that the agronomist comments that there's no need for an extension agent. I do want to say that
We didn't say
dealers-
no need, I don't think, it was, there's a lesser need than there was before there was agronomists on
That's
every
true.
street corner.
30, 40 years ago.
It's true, and that is a normal change, and I did
Yeah.
accept that. I do want to say that seed dealers and agronomists do push their products, and Extension does not. We are non-biased.
Yep.
Pesticide testing, you did mention being able to take that online. That is not correct. You cannot take pesticide training online. It is in our statute by the state that it has to be provided by Extension. Citizens can drive, like you said, to Jamestown if you want to encourage your citizens. If they do have complaints, they will have to be talking to you if they have to drive to another county. Let's see what else was on there. You are correct that one of the options was merging, and that was discussed. And you are correct that if we do have to merge with another county, both agents will have to apply for the job and open it up to anyone else. So that is correct. Yes, you are correct that kids can come to your fair from other communities. Yes, that would be correct if you do not have an extension agent. The 4-H program would close in Griggs County, and they would have to drive to a neighboring county. The agent does not just do fair work, and I want to clarify that.
Gosh, we knew that.
Okay, in the recording it said that she just does the fair stuff, but she does work all year long. So I'm just saying from what your recording said. So, and then again, the other counties except for Griggs have more agents. So you have the smallest amount of agents in the east side. So, yes, we do have trouble filling vacancies. That's not a doubt. We are a rural community. It's hard to get qualified candidates. We do have the issue with the money, like you said. But we do need county support, and at that meeting there was lack of support for Extension and our partnership. So, I did also write down
In its present form, I would say that's true.
Okay. And so, there were comments made about cuts are a good deal, and that the agents' help with chemical drifts are useless. So I am expressing today my disappointment in that meeting and what came out of it. I was, to frame it politely, accurately, maybe not politely, I was appalled because we are a partnership and I do want to work with you, but we can't work together and keep a solid agent if we don't have the support of you. So I did, when I saw you in the gas station, I did sit with some of the producers that were sitting there, and I did ask them about their value of Extension, and of the three, there was four of the four, three of them extremely highly valued Extension, and they worked with Megan to get answers. One was not, so you are right, there are some community members that don't value Extension. I did hear laughter.
Trying to think of who was sitting there.
You can listen to the recording again, but
Huh?
who was at the meeting, or who was at the coffee
Sitting
shop?
in the coffee shop? They weren't producers.
They were producers, some of them, because they were talking about combining and farming. So there was a couple of men probably that came in after you. But there's 4 total.
Maybe.
So
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
they also said they don't feel heard by their commissioners. So I'm just passing that on as out of that I heard it, and I'm passing it to you. So at any rate, I do have some of the handouts. You are correct that we understand that some communities will choose not to keep their agent, and it is hurtful and harmful for us to hear that, but we understand it's your decision. You have to work with the money. So what I can propose to you is that you can, as I have in this sheet here, you can go without those things. You can see if a neighboring agent will work with you, as you have already started. You could also hire a 4-H coordinator. If the county just wants to keep 4-H, you have to do it through Extension. We're the sanctioned provider of Extension. Excuse me, of 4-H. So if you want to keep just a 4-H coordinator, I do want to say that likely will cost the position with Megan. She's overqualified for that. You just need an associate's degree to do that. So I'm going to open it up for comments, feedback. I was disappointed you're a support person for portfolio holder, Sean, and I didn't feel a lot of support around the table with that. meeting, and I want to say that we don't make the raise decisions on our own. Sean sits in the meeting with Megan, and so we are open to your feedback. We want your feedback. If you don't think she deserves a raise, I will work with you on that. So I haven't had no complaints about Megan, but we're not solitary. We work with you. We want to work with you on.
When was extension started?
It was over 100 years ago.
1914.
In 1914.
Mhm.
What changes have been done to extension since then, in that time?
Oh, tons of changes. So, I mean, is there something specific you're asking?
No,
or?
no, just kind of thinking about, like, were there more extension agents per county at that time, or were there less, or were there,
I'd have to look into the history. I don't know.
I'm sure there's,
did we have 3 at one time here, or did we?
No, I don't think so.
well, I think you guys used to have an FCS agent,
Which FCS meaning,
Family and Consumer Science.
okay.
So they used to
So-
be called home
Home
economists. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that part of the homemakers program? I
Yes.
heard one of the gals talk about homemakers,
Homemakers.
that used to be an active program.
If you guys have suggestions of like what do you see extension, what you think their role should be in the communities, you should contact SBARE.
Mhm.
They need feedback.
Okay.
That's a chance for you to share what you want, and it's another chance. They heard testimony, including Trail County was there, as well as Steele County and Sheridan County and the Fargo meeting. So, if you're disappointed with the extension, that's a place to share it. So.
Well, I don't think we're disappointed, but,
Okay.
since 1914, I think there's been some changes in this country compared to what it is today.
Oh, absolutely.
So in my view anyway, that, not that extension isn't an important
Entity.
entity in our communities, but it probably isn't as active as what it was in the turn of the century.
And I'm sure that's true because evolution,
Yeah,
Private industry has taken.
Yeah. These
Is
little
it
square
pushed?
boxes that we carry in our pockets all the time,
Right.
information age.
Mhm.
But I just want to point that private industry will always promote
Sure.
their product
Right.
Sure.
versus an
But
extension stays black
So from
box.
an extension standpoint, if I have a range question or a forage question, I call Steve Zwinger, or I call the range specialist in Carrington Extension and at the research center. The world has changed.
I agree.
And my feeling is that the agents should, and I'm not saying they're over, maybe there should be less of them and they should make more money, each one of them.
They
But-
really are
but-
underpaid, yeah.
Right, so I don't know why any of them do what they do instead of going and being agronomist.
Because they value
But-
non-bias, I think.
But I
and
think
passion.
there needs to be more efficiencies in the extension system.
And we are working on that. I mean, we have cut back a district director. I said that we closed 10 positions. We are looking at this new funding model. Some counties might share. I know Adams County is another one that's not
Right.
supportive right
I'm
now.
really hesitant to support a proposal to fund benefits that we have no control over.
And
Because we don't know.
Neither do I.
We don't know how fast that's going to escalate going forward.
Right, and actually with Doug Burgum, likely they'll start paying. So he charges his own company. We've heard already rumors that he's going to start charging, but it's not verified. So
Charging what?
charging a percent of the premium
To who?
for health
employees.
to employees.
Well, he can. The legislature has to do that.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean we don't have control of it either.
I mean,
It's
that
up
was
to your
already that was already talked about in the last.
It
session.
was.
Yeah, no, I
exactly,
don't get me wrong, I know that.
Yeah.
But I don't trust the legislature's decision-making capability either.
Okay.
That's where this.
And-
this is
and the
where
other
this
thing
mess all
that's-
came from is our legislators.
The other thing that's
It is. It's
We
huge.
wouldn't even be talking about.
Exactly. I
That-
completely agree.
The other
Yeah.
thing that's out of there, it's to some degree when you have a compensation package that includes a defined benefit plan,
Mhm.
the actual actuarials drive the cost of those things as much as anything.
Right.
And when I look at the annual report of North Dakota PERS
Right.
and look at their assumptions
Mhm.
and then their actual returns on the
Mhm.
investments that they make, I think they're going to hit a brick wall.
They're
So-
heading a bad direction. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah.
And I'm not an actuarial, but I'm just reading the annual report and saying, okay, they continue to make assumptions that their investments are returning 8%, but they're really returning historically in 2016 was 3.
Yeah.
Well, now when you guys get to the point where you start retiring and those retirement payments have to be covered,
Mhm.
those premiums are just gonna, to me, unless somebody can prove me wrong, are gonna just go.
Yeah.
So then we've
I don't
agreed
know.
to pay 40% of that for one more employee when we already have all the rest of the county employees that we're gonna have to deal with going forward too. It just seems like we're just putting another nail in the coffin.
Well, it is a retention piece, and we can't keep a low salaried
Oh, I
employee
know.
without a good benefit package.
I
So we
know.
do need- they're considered faculty status, so they don't have the defined benefit. They have, it's called TIAA, so they don't actually have the same benefit as
So
other
it's a defined-
students.
It's a
It's a different category. I forget what it's called.
You have
but they're-
options, there's both defined benefit and the
defined
They
contribution.
have to,
Contribution.
yeah, there is a contribution, but it's a different level than the ND PERS package. So it's called TIAA, and then there's the defined package. So
I mean, there's, most likely it's either a defined benefit or a defined contribution.
right, yeah, and I couldn't tell you the difference. I don't know enough.
Well, the
about it.
difference is, okay, the defined benefit is the Rule 85. And,
Yes,
okay,
that's what I'm under.
okay.
ND PERS.
A defined contribution is like what I get at the bank.
And
If-
that's what where it was first pension versus 401k.
Right, yep.
Yep, I'm 401k.
Okay, so then there is no escalation based on poor actuarial calculations, because you get what you get. And the nice thing about that for you, Megan, being a young person, if you decide you're gonna go do something else, it all comes with you. If you have a defined benefit program like I did at NODAC, and I worked there for 20 years, I got barely what they had contributed back. So there was no gain on it. It was just, it really crucifies you from a benefit standpoint if you don't complete that Rule 85. I like what you have better. If I was your age, I'd be happier with that.
But then what if the
Depending.
stock market tanks?
What's that?
If the stock market tanks versus, I guess.
Well, you can invest that how you want. If you
Right.
don't like the looks of the stock market, you can move it into build a municipal
Yes.
bonds ladder or something. You know, I'm conservative too. I mean, I don't have mine in a lot of risky stuff, but when you're as young as you are, the stock market ebbs and flows, so you're gonna live long enough to get through a downturn. I might not.
Well,
Anyway.
I'm just gonna speak for myself, but I never really intended to eliminate extension in the county. That wasn't my hope, but I think that's why I pushed that we would reach out to some of the other counties and share maybe extension.
I really think that Mark's hit the nail on the head. I think that's what
I think
all
that's-
of us are feeling more than anything.
Okay.
I mean, we could cut hours,
We'd even talked about
but
that.
that's,
before
I
we got
hate
to this
having
point.
Yeah.
Part-time.
part-time employees because they're hard to find and they're hard to keep.
And Megan and I did talk about that, and that's something we could consider. I mean, if that would keep her here and the citizens of Griggs County having help, because right now I know Nelson, they're not, I shouldn't say, I don't know, but there's I've already talked to Barnes.
They got a young gal up there though, right? I
Yep,
mean,
she's
Nelson
got a home,
County,
and
yeah.
she's probably sticking around, and Steele's probably sticking around, so, but the commissioners some of them have expressed they're not willing to share, so we're gonna bump probably into some brick walls.
Well,
so
we
I-
already have,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when we didn't have an agent,
right,
We considered that option.
went and talked to our neighbors.
right.
And I don't know why they think like they do, but
Well, I think they wanna, from what Steele said to me, cause I already expressed they're not willing to share, and they said that they want the county agent to provide just for their county because they have that much need. So they don't wanna share, cause if they share, you've gotta figure out a travel arrangement for costs of between the two, and you've got a half-time person that,
it's 19 miles.
I'm just saying, but if you're cutting costs, you gotta add a 19 times 53 cents per each mile.
When my wife worked in both places, it was her job to get to both places. That's what her work was, whether it was at Finley
Right.
or whether it's in Cooperstown. And
Yeah.
she works for the USDA. so.
Okay, and you know, that would be, if you have to hire, that might be
Yeah.
something we explain, you know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
if you do a part-time position.
Granted, if you go to meetings or those sorts of things, then you get mileage,
Right.
but, you know.
Yeah, and right now with the extension, you don't, except for our federal employees, because they do get some return, so.
Yeah.
But they also have to consider their home office. If they drive from home, they don't get,
Sure.
you know, all the way to another county, they only get the difference in the commute, so. Yeah. So it sounds like you do find the value in extension even though things have changed, and we are
Yeah.
evolving. I mean, precision ag is the newest topic. We're trying to keep up with the producers, the technology, making things more app friendly, or mobile friendly. Our specialists are still highly touted across the nation. I know the producers I talked to this morning, they said they do, one of them said their chemical person they rely on actually contacts NDSU extension specialists and researchers, so we feel that we're still providing decent, not even decent, top of the line, trying to keep with the evolution. Yes, we have changed. If we kept the same, we would never be kept in these counties, you know, so. But we do want to provide the services that the counties have asked for, and it's horticulture, it's soil, it's all the different ag topics that Megan gets on a regular basis from citizens. So.
How many producers do you get to come to the crop improvement show that when you have it? It looks like you run that.
Yes, it's terrible. I wish there'd be more. So
Sure.
last year we had it during a storm. There was 11.
Yeah.
Previous year, I think we hit 20.
Well, even 20 is a pretty good number.
Mm-hmm.
And the draw there is to find out the new releases from NDSU.
Mm-hmm.
And private industry has encroached on wheat varieties. And now with the new wheat breeder, I hope that we can get more excitement for what's coming out from NDSU breeders.
Okay. Okay.
Megan does do the quarterly update report, and if there's ever information you want from us in between, she's more than glad to provide it. And I don't even know if you read the narrative. We ask the counties to put them together, but she could give verbals, and I think you do on a quarterly basis, or maybe not as
No.
often.
4 out of
You guys
5
want
of those
me
guys
to?
have never been on a farm.
Which ones?
Steele County Commissioners.
Oh,
Randy Richards, the only farmer on there. One's a lumberyard guy, one's a gravel guy,
Ted used to be.
one's a retired lineman, and one's a horse guy.
Do you guys want me to come and address you when I give the quarterly report?
Rather than just having a document to read.
sure.
Just to hear what's new and, with weeds, we've got how do you say it?
Palmer.
Thank you. My background's not in ag, so.
Oh, I should have brought that. I got a letter in the mail yesterday.
We got it last year too. Where it's in the grass seed.
No, this was some other weed. I can't think of it right now. I don't know.
Water pump?
Ooh, I hope not.
No, I can't remember. Did you?
Water hem's already here.
Yeah, shoot.
It was a goofy name. Hugs,
They all are.
Hugs Head or something.
So maybe that.
I
would
just
help.
think, I guess from our standpoint, just looking around, and most of us are producers, we feel that Extension should attempt to keep up with the economies of scale of the industry. I mean, there's a tenth the number of producers probably than there used to be. And I think that the extension agents should be able to cover more geography than they did back then, based on the fact that we have more other resources at our fingertips. And there's just a lot less people to deal with than there used to be. That's my personal feeling.
There's the same amount of acres.
Mhm.
There's the same amount of acres, but the,
Yeah, no, but you're not riding your horse to the horse show
I'm
anymore.
not riding
You're
my
probably
horse
putting
to
it in
the-
the trailer and hauling it there.
Yeah.
You could probably haul it further than you could when you were riding it there.
yeah, exactly. But
I mean, look, we got families from Eddy County that come here
Mhm.
for 4-H.
Well, there was 3, so it's not that
Yeah.
many.
No, I know.
But maybe at the fair they have more exhibits, because they can exhibit in more than one fair, so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So-
think
We don't-
those people don't even go to Minnewacan just because it's kind of non-existent.
Right, and you have big barns here. I mean, I know compared to Lake Ontario, they have the Quonsets that are falling down, so you certainly have more resources with your fairgrounds.
and the 4-H activity right now is probably
It's
Good
huge.
as
at a peak of what
as
it's
big as it's
been.
been for
years.
a long time.
And like I said at the
But
last
that's a
meeting,
product. That's a product of the agent and the parents.
and the parents, absolutely.
So I think you're giving a compliment to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
you
I will
could.
admit, the parents are wonderful that I have to work with now.
Very active.
Yes.
very
If
active.
they were
Very
uninterested, there wouldn't be any kids
And-
either, you know. But you're helping them, so otherwise they wouldn't be able to do it either. So
I think there was a gentleman that was our extension for a while.
You know the history better than I do.
Was there a
John or
gentleman?
Evan?
Yeah,
Carpenter, right?
and he approached me at
Way
one
back,
point in time,
Pat Carpenter.
you know, if we could use the barns all year round in town for some of the city kids to have some sort of animals or those sorts of things.
To keep them there?
Or someplace close that was available, because he was talking about starting some sort of livestock program for the
How long
kids that
ago?
live in town.
Long time ago.
10 years? 10 years ago? I think it was one of the younger guys, the last.
Oh, who's the kid that works at? No, he was in Steel County. Who's the banker in Valley City? Bockel was in Steel.
Oh, Sean.
Welsh County uses theirs for the fair, but then they have hockey during the winter in it. So I mean, there's creative ideas you can do
Oh,
depending on.
they're renting them out now to put boats and all that
Yeah,
storage.
that's what they do in trail. Yeah. So. Yeah.
And, but if there were probably some barns outside of city limits that were close,
Right.
they could start some sort of program for the city kids. I know we hired a new minister at our church now, that his daughter's got a show goat,
Oh wow.
and he was wondering where to keep it and that sort of thing, so he's ready for the fair. Yeah, I mentioned your name, Troy.
Is it a male or a female?
I have no idea.
Doesn't matter.
There's
Yeah,
no such thing as a show goat.
yeah, oh, it's a show goat.
That is getting to be a big enterprise.
Yeah, but, you know, that might be the start of something.
And even a producer that's willing to. I mean, we have
Sure.
one in Richland County. They have the kids go out to a farm, and they have it there. So they're.
And there's been situations where there has been city kids that have gone out to the farm, a 4-H family, and
Yep,
leased an animal.
yeah.
Yeah.
It would be nice if we could,
Jack Van Heusen's got a cow at our house.
does he?
Betcha.
You know, that's a great little deal.
Except for it had a bull calf last spring, so now he's got a steer calf and feedlot and gap.
Yeah,
I know. I'm sorry. I'm switching gears a little bit, but the the worry about coming up with the money to afford the extension and then
Well, we thought this was imminent.
it's likely still happening. It's just not dead set on yet because they haven't approved the change yet. So it is- well, I guess
Because
it is
I think some of the
happening.
angst from some of the people in this group was, once you hit October 10th, we can't raise the mill levies.
Correct, yeah.
And then this comes out in November.
And I understand. I mean, you still have another year though, because it wouldn't be until January 2019, or did we miss it for 2018? I mean, you have another chance next October, right?
No, yeah, no, we thought this was gonna happen like quick.
Okay, yeah, and that's,
So-
you still got some time.
So, I mean, we're good for this year.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
perfectly
So
good.
we got
We
time,
said-
we
we
got time
said-
to think about it.
You set our budget in May,
October.
October? You
Yeah.
know that?
Well, we start, it sounds like maybe
We
in summer.
start in August probably, but
Oh,
it's finalized in October.
We start working on the budget in July.
yeah,
You almost have to, or you're not gonna get it done.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it used to start in June, so.
And we'll have the decision no later than March 31st, because that's when it's due to the Legislative Budget Committee.
But it won't affect us in 18.
No,
Okay,
no,
that's good to know.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was gonna happen sooner than that, but
no, it's okay.
We
That's
can't-
why I'm here to
we
help.
can't do much about 18 anymore. That was my point.
Oh, it's done, yeah, I mean, it's done, yeah. And that's why, when we were trying to work with SBAR and the Association of Counties, we knew we have the partnership, and we can't just unilaterally make decisions, like, we have to work with the county, so we asked to at least wait till 2019.
So,
An idea too from Walsh County, they're working on a possibility of raising, or starting a sales tax of a quarter of a penny to help with some unfunded mandates. So I'm just passing that idea because I thought it was pretty creative. Because they have, DSS has shortfalls, a lot of the state funded organizations have shortfalls.
we're not a home rule county, I don't think we can do that, can we?
They're not home rule either.
Aren't they?
No.
I didn't- Can you just,
You'd have to have a vote,
okay,
Yeah, it has to do with
Yeah.
a vote, yeah.
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, more taxes is a bad idea, but,
That one they felt might not be as noticeable because, when you pay for a pop at the store or coffee, you don't usually say, well, now what's that percent? And where you see your property tax rise, you're definitely getting mad or,
Yeah.
feeling it. So it was just an innovative idea I thought was creative. So.
an innovative idea is figure out how to live within your budget. Don't raise the taxes.
You
That's
can
an
talk to your
innovative
legislators
idea.
about that. It's not coming from extinction, believe me. I mean, we are disappointed, so yeah.
Well, them guys are up against the wall. They made too many people too many promises and the oil prices went down.
Yeah.
Like that, like anybody shouldn't have known that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, good lord.
Right. Yeah. It's. I mean, it's hard. Politics is hard. So. But I guess maybe my last question. I'll leave this with you too. This was the presentation that Chris made, and this is the draft. I think again you saw some of that, or maybe heard about that one. It's not done yet until SBAR makes a decision, but. I guess I'm maybe just sitting a little worried for Megan because if your job's a little unknown, for the next year and a half, I'm worried. I mean, I don't know if she'll leave. So I guess I'm wondering if there's any kind of confidence you can give her, or if you're really.
Well, we're gonna do nothing for a year.
Okay.
No, I don't know. We can't make a decision based on
Well, I
a
know
decision
that.
that's not been made.
I agree. I guess, my one worry is if you lose your agent because she, I'm not saying that she is, because she hasn't expressed any interest in changing. She, from what I can tell, really loves her job and working for Griggs County. But if she changes a plan, then you're out an agent, and then, then we'll have to figure out what to
Right.
do with that.
Well, and I think once a decision is made,
Yes.
then I think Megan needs to help us find a
Fair.
path forward that everybody can live with.
Fair. And that's fair, and I.
Because I don't work
appreciate
in that office.
What's that?
I don't work in that office.
Right.
I don't know what the needs are.
Yeah, thank you, yeah. No, and she knows them well, and I'm glad to answer questions, so, yeah. And I know she's willing to be flexible too, and so, I mean, we talked about, she even suggested or mentioned, I don't know if you want to share it today or not.
If it did need to happen, if I went to 0.8 full time, I was in 4 days a week. So that'd be some cost savings.
So, Maybe you already answered my question.
I can provide you the fringe, the exact fringe rate too. I have it in my computer.
Well, some of it's health insurance, I suppose,
That's correct.
you know, and then how do they reconcile, how does the state reconcile the difference between Megan, who is a defined contribution employee? Do you get 8% or something, or is there a match up to a certain level?
Yeah, it's on, I can also get that to you as well. If there's,
I'll look it up quick.
okay, on the HR website, the Human Resources website, they do have that split
Okay.
out, but it doesn't, you'd have to find out a couple details to be able to put it in their spreadsheet. Because I did look it up for Steele County as well. They wanted to know a
I
little
see.
bit more. And I could give that to you. if
How
you
come the
want.
state did that with the agents and not with the rest of the world?
Because they're considered teachers, and so they went into faculty status.
So they didn't do TFFR instead?
I'm not sure what TFFR.
It's a teacher's retirement fund?
Or professor is
Yeah.
maybe the
Mhm.
proper word.
Yeah.
So professors have.
So you're treated as a NDSU professor,
Faculty.
because, I mean, the reason he said that, I think, is because the teachers in town here are,
Yeah.
they're North Dakota PERS at whatever percentage they are.
Right. Yeah.
So Megan is at a severe disadvantage to the rest of the county employees. Most
You
likely.
mean for contribution?
Because at one point in time, and I don't know when it was, the county commissioners in Griggs County decided to pay both sides of North Dakota PERS. So we're paying 15.52% or something of every employee's salary, and she's on a defined
NDSU's
contribution.
plan is quite nice.
Yeah.
Compared to other universities in the United States.
I see.
It
So
is.
based upon your years of service,
The defined contribution is based on years of service?
yes.
Really?
So your first 2 years you contribute, and I don't, okay, I'm in the category 2. I'm not considered a professor, I'm considered a faculty.
Right.
Okay.
And so the first 2 years I contributed 3.5%, however, NDSU contributed 7.5%.
Okay.
So you go to private industry, the employee always pays double than what, or I don't want to say always, but tends to always pay double than what the company pays in. For 2 to 10, it's 4.5, so that's what I'm at right now, and then NDSU's jumped up to 12.5, and after,
So they are
yes,
putting in a big number.
Right.
and that's probably
Okay.
why a lot of professors, faculty stay at the NDSU NDSU university system and don't go to a southern university.
Oh, really?
I've heard,
It's retent. I mean, we bring
I mean,
them in
that's
all over the
that's huge.
world.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then after 10 years, it's the employee contributes 5 versus, and then they top off at 13%.
So you're required to increase your contribution a little bit.
Yeah.
And ours, like where I work, it's inverted.
Okay.
I put in 2, they increase 1,
Okay. Yeah.
up to a cap
That
of
makes sense.
4. So
Right.
if I put in 5, they put in 4, and then that's it. Then
Sure.
I put in more than that. That's just my
They
own.
don't match it at a certain point.
Mhm.
Now, professors, if you're a professor, then you don't start off at that lower rank. You just start off at 4.5 and 12.5. So,
Wowie.
yeah.
300% interest on your money right away.
But they do get, I mean, the challenge is we lose them too because people can get paid more in private industry. But I think most of the extension employees have a deep passion for their communities, so on 4-H. And that's why we keep them around, thank goodness. So, yeah, and I know you're in a hard place. I can't imagine what you have to do with cutting budgets and whatnot, so I feel for you there. And, again, we're willing to figure out something together if if we can come up with a solution, if you choose to share with the 4-H coordinator, we'll work through the details, so, okay.
It's just hard to get people to play,
I completely understand.
you know.
It costs us a lot in finding them and training them too. It's about 3 years before we get them trained.
So if we had less people that got better compensation,
And
everybody would probably be better served. I mean, I'm a person that thinks there should be 8 counties in the state.
yeah,
Because if you erased all of this county government business right now and redrew it again in today's world, would it look the
Huge
same?
cost savings.
well, I want to say too that we started with a new criteria and brought that to SFAIR.
And that's got nothing to do with you guys, that's just my,
It's just your philosophy on it.
well,
yeah.
because in 1880, when the counties were, the lines were drawn, the emphasis was for the population to be able to reach their government.
Sure.
Okay, county government was mighty powerful when, back in those days. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the federal government had very little authority. The states and the counties were the government, to a large degree. Think of the mode of transportation most people had then. So if you're gonna provide access to your county government, you're not gonna have a big county. I think the criteria was
Was
they
that
wanted
days
to
ride
be
on a horse or
within a
something?
day's travel.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's,
How
it's
far can
interesting.
we
Some things have
travel
changed a
now?
bit.
They must have had fast horses in Barnes County.
Well, I mean, I think they probably failed to get it done in some of those bigger counties, or there just was nobody there. Think of those counties out west. There's all kinds of townships that were never incorporated.
Sure, sure.
Because there's nobody in them.
No.
Or very
So,
few.
anyway.
Yeah.
That's kinda how you know how I think.
Yeah, and that was the reason for those smallest counties, those 6 that we have. I mentioned the inverted thing. We were hoping maybe that they would merge so that we would see that, but it's their county
That is-
citizens are saying no way, we're not doing it.
Right.
So.
I don't think the boys over in Steele County are asking their citizens, because I have lots of friends over there.
But there was 90 at the community meeting. They had a community
Was there?
meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard
And the
that.
legislators came and all the commissioners were there, so. I mean, they may not approve it. There's definitely still work going on over there, but they gave me at least, we're gonna keep both 1.2 people there. Actually, they have, well, at 1.8, they have 1.2 paid by the county, but the one is federal state. So I'm hopeful that that's what they're gonna do, and they may have to raise the mill, but we'll see. I mean, there has been so much advocating on their behalf to SFAIR. The SFAIR is, I think, shaky on those 6. I think they have a possibility of making it the same across the state because of all the outrage.
Even the small
They've
population.
been
count.
fighting it.
2,000 people was the
That's-
threshold, right?
Yeah, that's the threshold.
Yeah, we're a sneeze over and they're a sneeze under.
Yeah.
If
it's
we
true.
merge the counties together, bingo.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not what's happening right now. That's
No.
not
Well, that won't
the,
happen for my lifetime,
yeah.
so.
Like you said, there's a strong alliance with that framework, so. We are unique, across the nation. They have regionalized a lot of extension, but the problem is that it's not being efficient. You know, people are not finding it efficient, so. Although it's efficient in terms of less staff, the amount of volume is too heavy, so people aren't getting the answers they need quick enough, so. So that has not worked. South Dakota and Minnesota, it's been very disadvantaged to the state people, so.
So does the extension have the authority to do such things as, oh, Steele's and Griggs are little, we are only gonna have one agent there?
We would only do it if the counties agreed.
Yeah, I think
Because
it's gotta
we're
be
a
pushed.
partnership with you guys, so.
It's a bottoms-up process.
Yeah. So, you know, if Steel.
I don't know if it should be. It's kind of like these schools that are building new schools right now.
Yeah.
Shame on the state superintendent of schools for
Allowing it, yeah.
letting it happen.
Yeah, and why we don't say we're just gonna do it is because we have a partnership, you know. I'm not
Sure.
gonna overhaul and say, oh, no, this is the best, because then we hear, the state makes all our decisions, we don't get any say,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so.
Sure.
I mean, we are running, we don't have the money, so something has to give, and there'll be more retirement, and, you know, there'll be positions that just go unfilled, and the need will have to be figured out, you know. If they're outcry, then we've gotta figure something out, so.
Where were the 10 positions eliminated?
I don't have them, but I could get those. I know
I
for
mean-
sure there were 2 agents.
There was?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's Grand Forks A&R, because they already have.
And
it.
then other layers throughout the extension service. That
Yeah,
was
a
crazy.
director, secretaries, there were, I'd say at least, and again, I may have said more specialists earlier, but I know there are a certain amount of specialists,
Like
yeah,
at
the state level.
the research centers or at NDSU itself?
I don't, I need to get that, but I don't wanna be inaccurate.
I think because the RECs, do they have their own line item?
They have their own budget, yeah. So it's probably at the state level.
So like Dwight Ockery, he did budgets, crop budgets, or worked on that type of stuff. I don't think they've rehired for him.
They,
Oh,
I
that's right, he
think,
retired.
yeah, I think that one's, I'd have to check. I have the write-up, I just don't have it with me.
Or they may prolong to.
They've been prolonging a lot. Every hire we've delayed, so just to recapture some of the savings. And also, you know, when you get a retiree that has a ton of vacation or sick time, we have to pay that out for a couple months after. So we can't rehire because we have to pay that out first, so,
You pay out your sick time?
yeah, 5%.
Oh, 5%.
It's not very
Oh,
much.
okay.
But if you've been here 25 years, I mean, I've been here with the state for 14 and I have 700 sick hours, so
Sure,
it takes a little time to recap that.
right. But it's a little bit of an incentive for people not to abuse it.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Sorry, we keep talking. Do you have any other thoughts? And again, I came off strong because
Okay.
Yep.
you need to know that
Yeah.
it was hard on us, but I want to still let you know what we're going to work with you, you know, in whatever way we can. So let us know what you need and what, you know, I can get all this data, some historic data and whatnot for you. Keep the questions coming.
Well, I think we just wanted to know that it has been changing and evolving.
Yeah,
over
oh,
the time.
absolutely,
So,
yeah, we can tell
I don't
you.
need to know all the changes, but
Okay.
I just wanna realize, you know, that there has been changes
Right.
coming along.
And there's things that die off, like the homemakers. It's kind of an older generation thing, and there's
Well-
not young people going into homemakers anymore. So
You know,
it's limited.
at the time when the homemakers were a big deal, the wives, the farm wives didn't work
Yeah,
in town.
That was their.
I
There was
Sure.
lots of them.
And there was lots of them.
yeah.
And they didn't have outside jobs.
Mhm.
And
They
now,
didn't have the internet, they didn't have email, they didn't have lots of things we have now. That's
Right.
my whole thing, is we have to be more efficient than we used to be.
well, and that's for information, but I think the homemakers had more to do with also social and getting together
Mhm.
and those sorts of things
Right.
and talking. I would much rather talk to you here now today than sit on my phone and try to get something off of there.
Right. And that's,
Because it goes and
Right.
all
I
that.
was never
sort
in
of-
homemakers, Mark, so.
I went to many of them. Mom, all the kids went too.
yeah. We do talk about, the extension is, we usually provide more than just information, so
Sure.
it's transformational education. So Megan does, you know, multiple sessions in a row and a lot of programming, like Designer Succession program. It's not like we spit information out, we actually work through it.
What's programming? I don't know what that is.
Oh, programming, I'm sorry. Do you want to explain a few of them?
So, okay, here's this information. You know, like I just transfer you the sheet. Programming, beef cattle update, that's up in Annetta. In early October, there was the what to do with your feeder calves, where we get together, we discuss things. That's a program. That's
I see.
programming.
It's more than just, here's a piece of
Here's the
paper.
information. Hope you can read.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, like some of the programs are in series, so, you know, design your succession program, that's a program. And it would be like, 5 meetings? The series is to help people move from thinking about it to making behavior change. So to talk to your family about what you want to do with your farm and lay the pieces out for the people instead of just saying, here you go, best of luck with that transition. So.
You had a-
If I have my plan figured out right, the last check I write is gonna bounce.
To the Undertaker.
Hopefully you'll be on your way to Arizona or something by then.
Then the county will have to pay for your burial.
You had a cattle, meeting or whatever you wanna call it?
Two of them, sounds like.
That is my one of the frustrations. I said I
Yeah.
had 12 people show up to
Yeah.
crop improvement, 20 on a good year. At that beef meeting, there was 15.
No, I think, like the crop improvement, there's a crop improvement board too, isn't there?
Yes. And I'm the secretary for a lot of things, and I
Yeah.
tend to take on a lot of things, and I'm looking for the other leaders to take on a buy-in that they
Yeah.
feel that they can let their neighbor know as well. And I posted in the calendar events in the newspaper. I've tried the events on Facebook,
Yeah,
emails.
Sorry,
It's-
but you're not gonna find me in any of those places, that's the problem.
the,
I've
But
never
why?
found a reason to be on Facebook, I'm not gonna do that, and I won't buy that stinking rag they put out every week, so.
So how do I get to you? Just via email?
Huh?
I can reach you via
I have
email.
3 email accounts.
I'll tell you how. So when I'm on the elevator board and they have elevator meetings, or if they have, chemical meetings and those sorts of things, the only way they're successful
Food.
is if they, food, and
But even I tried the food
Oh,
bait and it
but-
doesn't.
you gotta call people the morning of. That's the only way we can get anybody to show up for anything. If you call people the morning of, if you call them the day before, they'll forget by the but you gotta call
And
people the morning
that's
of.
not negative.
Boy, that
you
makes
don't
No.
care. Okay.
No.
It's
You
good.
gotta-
Just
need
you
to have
gotta
a
call
text chain.
producers the morning of, or
Well, texting's kind of,
or text.
that's a good point too. We've heard that a lot.
Text is a good deal, but you gotta do it the morning of.
But how,
And,
you probably don't have that database.
No.
That's a problem. How do you get everybody's cell phone number?
Yeah,
You could start asking
yeah, yeah.
sit down at the coffee shop.
Right. Would you like this information? If I had your cell phone number, I can get a hold of you and do that sort of thing.
Cause I don't know, all that stuff comes and goes and I never know about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I should start buying the paper again now that Mara's in there, but.
Well, and maybe what Megan could do too is keep you in the loop about some of these major events too, and then you can share it with your spheres of influence too.
And that's
You
what I
have,
would
I mean,
encourage.
you have our email addresses just because we have county email.
And that's why I'd encourage you, to make those board members call. I wouldn't have you do the calling, but I'd make sure the board members are doing calling. If they wanna be on these boards
Yeah.
and be active in their communities and what they're doing is important, they're the ones that gotta make the calls.
That's a great
And,
idea.
in those mornings, or send the emails or whatever,
Thank you. That's a great idea.
you know?
And another thing that hasn't been in this county is an advisory board, and it's been mandated, and it will help me as well. But to form an advisory board where I get more input on what programming
Mhm.
do you guys want to see?
Sure.
So you have to find those folks?
Yes.
I see.
And they're in about half of our eastern side of the state that I have, and it's usually a commissioner so that you guys can keep aware of what's happening. A bunch of different people in business and production, ag production. So it's a representative sample. It's public health. It's the church. It's our A church. It's a 4-H.
Sure.
So we have a spectrum of people, not just all extension people or all producers. So. But yeah, it's been very helpful, and they help advocate. Right now,
Absolutely.
SFAIR, there was a ton of advisory boards writing notes to SFAIR, so that really helped their communities. So, yeah, so for Megan, but it was required by the state and SFAIR, and I think it'll be a good thing to help with community activation.
And as a new hire, that seemed daunting because I didn't know many people yet. But this will be going on to my 3rd year, and I've gotten to know a lot more producers, a lot more members of the community.
Sure.
So I want to make sure I pick people that are willing to help and contribute and not just take up a seat or don't show up.
Do you live on one of the Thompson farms? Where do you guys live?
On a big farm.
Which,
north of Sharon.
you live on D?
No, it was Jim and Don's. Vic. North of Sharon, like a mile and a half.
Straight north?
Like by Sully's?
Yes, south
Oh,
of there.
okay. I wasn't sure. Does Richard still live out there? Thompson?
I don't think so.
Is he died, didn't he?
Or Rick?
Rick's dad.
Oh, he's passed away.
That's what I thought.
Inez lives in town though,
Okay.
in Nevada.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much for your time and visiting and suggestions. Really appreciate that.
Thank you very much for coming.
Oh, for sure. You're welcome.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too.
Merry Christmas to all of you.
Drive safe if you're going anywhere.
Yeah, will too. I will do, and you too.
Yeah.
Would you like, I do have business cards. Would you like that? You want me to just be reachable by Megan or?
As long as we have Megan, I think we're not in a hurry.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
We're,
again, I
we're
can-
not, we're not gonna do anything for quite some time.
Right. Once I hear about Esper's decision, I can forward it to her to forward to you and let you know. And then obviously you can keep brainstorming until we have to work on budgets, and let me know if you want help. I mean, certainly Megan's gonna be great for what you can do, what options there are, and I'll help on the pieces if you have questions that we need to check with the state. So,
Okay,
does that sound good?
sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Special meeting, December 28th, is that a request?
Yes, because I know
Okay.
there's going to be, maybe not many, but at least a couple that I
Some.
know of bills that need to be paid.
And that's close enough to the end of the year?
Yes. The plan is to start doing month
Oh,
end.
you're gonna shut this thing down on the 30th? Or what,
They are planning to do end
of the year?
a month on Friday, the
And then-
29th, and then
Come in Saturday and do the end of the year?
I think they're going to wait and do it on Tuesday.
Okay.
Do we have a few budgets we're gonna have to amend at
I
that
think so.
point?
What time?
Whatever time you guys would like.
So that's a Thursday.
Thursday.
Can we have one that quick? Doesn't that have to be posted so long?
Not special meeting.
Special meetings, all right, anytime?
It just, in a special meeting, since they're not posted for the year like that,
Yeah?
it has to be a specific agenda and there can't be anything added at the meeting.
Okay.
We've actually posted special meetings like now and then added half hour from now too.
As long as you contact
Notice it,
the paper.
yeah.
What time do you guys wanna do it? How long is it gonna take?
9 o'clock? Or is that tough for chores?
It is, because I'm not done with chores.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or do you wanna do it
Well,
1?
if it's gonna be a short meeting, should we do it at 3 o'clock or something? So what time do you get back to town?
Depends on what's going on. I should be back decent time next week.
2?
Yeah.
2? I can do 2 probably.
Does that work?
That might work.
Yeah.
Okay,
Next Thursday, 2:00.
2 it is. Okay. This North Dakota Department of Human Services, I didn't read that thing.
Did we finish DES?
Oh. Yeah, I think so.
Pretty much
I think I'm gonna call them and find out if there are,
less hours we need, or?
well, then maybe call Steele County and talk to Ben Gates. I don't know how many hours it should take. That's a problem.
Right.
I can't imagine it would take 8 hours a week.
Oh, gosh.
I
I don't,
think Wayne used to do it at one time, didn't he?
Wayne.
Wayne?
he was 911.
He's
Oh,
still, yeah, he's still not.
Okay.
It's Hendrickson, and then he passed it off to Skip Kelso.
That's right.
Oh,
And
that's right.
Bob picked it up, so that's the chain as I know it anyway.
This actually looks good, like they just changed the structure of the board, huh?
They did what I said they should do when I went to that meeting and said I'm not coming back. Looks like, doesn't it?
Griggs County hasn't been to a meeting for 3-4 years.
No, I went.
You
After
went.
they told Ron that they told us that Ron wasn't,
Cause he didn't go,
he couldn't be there.
and I haven't been there yet either.
Oh, were you on there?
Well, no, yeah.
Oh,
I've never made it.
oh, bummer.
They have them like Wednesday morning.
Yeah, I know, I went to one.
It's like stupid.
And it was all stuff I had known exactly nothing about.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't belong here. So now they did have, their advisory group it will consist of social service directors, public health directors, and 2 county commissioners. Perfect, we won't be on it.
Cause isn't there about 10 counties in this South Central one?
Yeah, it's a huge geographic
Yeah.
area. Logan, Stutzman, Foster, Eddie, I don't know what all.
Apparently we didn't get approved new members, so.
Nobody asked us to participate, okay. That's one of those things we pay if we need to use it anyway, right? How do we pay dues on that deal? I don't remember. I don't think so. Did I forget anything? What are the minutes gonna look like? We kinda hopped around a little bit.
It'll be interesting.
Weren't the maintainers gonna be on the agenda?
No, not till after the first period.
Okay.
I
And
believe,
that's again, we just gotta, somebody just came up and met with the county, and John went and sat in on it, I think. Must have been John Deere, RDO. It was RDO. Because they were talking about extending the existing leases and different options. John just told me, he said, them guys are coming up here, so I just went and sat in on it, just to hear what our options are, so he could think about it.
Well, to change those machines out with these few hours on, if we can lease them longer, or even buy them, and they have to have a schedule with scheduled downtime on the things. They know when you use it for a county maintaining a road at a torque converter goes out generally at 4,000 hours, so you pull it off at 3,700 and replace it, so you don't
Right.
have all these troubles.
Takes a bunch of other crap with it, so.
Yeah, well, that's how they do, like at a mine. They don't wait till their D11s take a dump. CAT has provided them with their history of when they know that component generally fails. And
This better go
they
on the next
plan the
agenda.
maintenance before.
It's easier to fix it before it's broke than when
Yeah,
it's
they
broke.
pull it in they order they order the part and install it before it fails.
Yeah.
Could we get an extended warranty? Would that be all part of that? Or-
That's all part of the equation
Yeah.
to consider. So, buying those things out is a big deal, though. That's
Yeah.
gonna cost $600,000. I don't know if we can do that. To me, if you use half of the allowable hours on the lease, you got too many of them.
They should be just about right to the nuts when you turn them back in.
Or you got the wrong lease.
Yeah.
May go less hours, I suppose.
I don't know what that would mean from a cost standpoint, but
But I suppose that has to do with if you can predict what kind of winters we're gonna have.
God, you should
yeah, but you're way better
should be
paying
able
for.
to take an average.
You're way better paying for a little bit of overage than you are turning them in when they're only half.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're coming
So-
up on 4 years. You should be able.
You know, even if it was, if they're, what are these 7,000 hour leases or 6,000?
Yeah.
6, I think.
You know, even if you said, okay, the one that has most hours on it's 4,000, so you leased them for 4,000, what would the lease payment be?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they lease them by so much an hour.
well,
Kind
yeah,
of a
except
deal.
for you leave hours on the table and it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, we got a lot of questions and not very many answers on that deal, right, so far. So, anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Been moved by Dale to adjourn, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mark, is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned at 10:52 a.m. Friday, December 22nd. Next meeting will be a special meeting at 2 p.m. on the 28th of December.